Software Development, Daniel Lee. Vice President of Software Development, Chan-Ik Park. Vice President of Controllerova Development, Sun Jae-won. Vice President of NAND Memory Planning and Enabling, Kenny Han. Last but not least, Director of NAND Product Marketing, Ryan Smith at the stage. Please give them a warm round of applause.
How was the presentation? Thank you so much for your attention to the presentation. Okay, before starting the Q&A session, let me briefly introduce panel members again. My name is Eun-Soo Kim. I'm Senior Vice President of Samsung Brand Memory Product Sales and Marketing Team. Right next to me is Dr. Daniel Lee. He's a Vice President and he's leading software development team. And next to Daniel, Charlie Park is Dr. Park. He's also Vice President and he's in charge of software development. And in the center, Sun Jae-won, Vice President. He's in charge of controller development. And Kenny Han, as introduced, is Vice President and he's NAND Flash Memory Product Planning. Ryan Smith, Director, Product Marketing from Samsung Semiconductor, North America. He come here from San Jose. Okay. So I think we'll try to answer your questions as much as possible. And I think we are ready to take your answers. So who will be the first one? Okay.
SSD penetration into the notebook market is, as you said, we're reaching that tipping point right now. But for new PCs, it's at roughly 3%, and they're predicting it'll be 7% in the next 3 years. So that's really low penetration into desktop PCs. Do you know why?
Ryan, you have an answer?
Oh, thank you for that. So you're asking about desktop PCs in particular? Yeah. So notebook PCs have adopted SSDs for obvious reasons. Thin and light, small, fast, everything you would come to expect from a storage device. Desktop PCs, because they were primarily going after, a lot of people would have desktop PCs. They were using it as a storage device where they would store large media files and whatnot, and that's where SSDs have long struggled to have those higher and higher densities until recently. But obviously, the price point of higher densities is hard to get close to the hard drive. So having a 2 terabyte hard drive is nowhere near the price of an SSD. However, I can tell you from, because I'm part of the OEM business, I see some of what's actually happening, and I think you're going to see a rapid change in what you've seen. So oftentimes when you look at analyst data, it's looking back. I look forward, and I'll tell you that it's definitely going to change, and I hope the conversation will be a lot different next year.
Thank you. Oh, I have one more. With the DRAM on the controller, how are you guys connecting that internally? Is that through wire bonding or TSV?
DRAM control 원팩시 technology. Kenny or Kenny?
We don't have any some technology for from SS now. So, but in the future, we are considering to adopt those kind of technology in the future, but not right now.
So are they 2 separate packages on top of each other essentially, or is it integrated on that?
Yes, right.
two separate layers.
It is actually the technology some used at some mobile devices.
Question from left side. Let's go to the center. In the middle, yes. So, Mike over there.
I've got a question here. With the copper layer in the label, how much of a difference does that actually make? So you said 95 seconds until the thermal throttling. If you didn't have the copper layer in there, how many seconds would it be?
Yeah, so the question is about the label. How much of a difference does the label make in terms of the thermal control?
You saw the numbers, right? And that's the total with the low power design and low power NAND flash and heat spread all combined together. It makes that kind of heat efficiencies.
Yeah, so
Well, your question is what exactly
I was just
the
wondering
heat spreader works.
if you can quantify that extra layer in there.
So I think you have the answer. You might come to
about the effect of cooling effect of heat spreader. Maybe about there was a 30% of TTD engaging time increasement by using the torrent package and heat spreader like that. That is cooling effect. Yeah.
Is that answer to your question?
Got a mic now.
Yes.
Hi, this is Koen with Harvard Info. I've got two questions. First is, can any one of you comment on the recent shortages on NAND flash and give some projections on the effects on pricing for end user pricing for retail SSDs in the coming months?
We are hearing that story too. I need your insight on the market, actually, what's happening in the NAND flash market right now. Are you talking about like a shortage situation and the projection for the next, right?
Well, at least in Holland, we already see the prices for SSDs going up in the last 2 months. So something is happening, I guess.
Something's happening, right? I think something's happening, but I'm not a person who has the old information about supply and demand numbers. But what I heard, what I see from the market, that the trend is that the price going up right now, and everybody's talking about tight supplies. Demand is also increasing, and supply is constrained. At least for the first half, we expect that the supply constraint will continue. And coming to the second half, our projection is that there will be some balance in the second half.
And the second question I have is, in the newest version in the latest released version of Magician, there is now in the privacy statement, it is stated that you need to agree to data collection, and if you don't do that, you don't get any firmware updates anymore. So there were some privacy concerns about that. Can you comment on that?
I should understand this. So your question is
that in the newest version of Magician, version 4.9, it asks you for some data collection. So you get some statistical data on how you use your drive, how many, I don't know what kind of data you use. But you have to agree on sending the data to Samsung to be able to get new firmware. And if you don't agree, you don't get any new firmware. So there are a lot of people that complain about that for privacy reasons. So why is data collection really needed to get firmware updates?
Right. There was some complaint about personal data collection, and actually the real data we were collecting was just the product serial numbers and how many drivers in the system and IP addresses like that. But the reason why we called it as a personal information was some countries, depending on some countries, they count those information as personal. Some market, it is not personal information, but some countries take it as a personal information. So I think we should have been more careful about using the term personal information. I think we work with our legal team to iterize those things, to avoid any confusion in the market.
Thank you.
I want to add a comment. Those data we collected to provide a better service for you guys. Okay, so we are following, I guess, the policy of the EURA. That's the policy of the European, the personal, information collection.
What I'm saying is that there was some confusion on the meaning of personal information, so we have to straighten that out. Okay, gentlemen, and then.
So the 960 EVO only uses 2 NAND packages. Did you guys roll the DRAM into the Polaris controller on the 960? And also, some of the 960 Pro drives aren't going to need all 4 packages NAND. So are you guys putting the DRAM in a separate package for that part?
So as you have seen after some Lions presentation, so we have some full package for NAND, and also there's one space for some controller as well as a DRAM. So that's why we merged the on top of the controller. So we place the DRAM. So we call the POP the package on package. So that's why we can do those kind of technologies.
For the EVO as well?
Excuse me?
For the EVO product as well?
EVO is not, doesn't have those kind of technologies.
Only 960 Pro first, and then I think right now the EVO doesn't have that technology, but like someday I think also will apply the same to the 960 EVO.
Okay. And then just, when you guys say label for the heatsink, are you guys talking about a layer? Because there was an image over here on the side that looked like a layer of the PCB, but label would kind of lead to like a sticker. Which, is it the sticker or is it a layer inside the PCB?
Sticker. It's label. It's a sticker. We just showed the structure of that tiny sticker. Magnifying small structure of the sticker. Again, there is several layers of components. It's a sticker. No more question? Okay, over there.
Some companies are introducing PCIe solid-state drives with the U.2 form factor and connector. Samsung seems to favor the M.2 2280 exclusively. Do you see any future where a theoretical Samsung PCIe SSD would be also offered in U.2 and a 2.5-inch form factor as well as M.2, or do you see M.2 2280 as the way forward exclusively?
So right now we just provide the M.2 for brand market, and we have the U.2 and the AIC kind of converter, but currently dedicated for the OEM business. But if the market require the volume, and then maybe also we provide it in the future, right?
And let me add, since on the OEM side, we do have a U.2 form factor, but it's primarily for the enterprise.
Right.
So, as they were saying, with the aftermarket, you have to look at what slots are available. So in the U.2 form factor is still being adopted and still getting introduced into new server platforms. On the client side, primarily M.2 is what the form factor is. And of course, Samsung is going to look at the market, and if they see adjustments made, obviously we would have to consider that for
Thank you.
Over there, Vicky.
Hi, Nicole Scott from Mobile Geeks. I really like your new message about the journey of new possibilities, and I really liked the way you guys were positioning flash and memory in VR and 4K, and just in like the emerging market. I was wondering, are you guys planning on working with Samsung's Exynos division? Because you showed smartphones at several different junctures of the presentation, and just looking towards the future, I was wondering if you were looking at like leveraging any of their platforms.
Yeah, so Exynos is designed for mobile processors. We use our own specific controller or specific CPU for SSDs. That's one of the advantages that we have to keep our competitive advantage. Right now, there isn't a mix. So in the mobile platforms, they're using eMMC and quickly moving over to a technology called UFS. So it's completely different than SSDs. And I know mobile was mentioned a lot, and mobile is used kind of loosely, if you will. So it's about mobile computing devices, and that's a kind of an ambiguous term because it could be a mobile phone, it could be a tablet, it could be a PC, it could be a two-in-one, but it's something that's not stationary, like a big box that sits on your drive. So just want to make sure that was clear.
So when you were showing the VR headset, that was more about like, the desktop it was connected to?
Yeah, so VR, I mean, as you likely know, VR is traditionally or primarily a desktop environment at the moment anyway. We're still many years away from where it would be. Well, I mean, there are some applications in the mobile phone as well, but a lot of the VR capabilities are in the desktop, which require really, really high performance, and that's where PCIe NVMe comes in, obviously, is for that. But you're not going to be able to cram an NVMe M.2 inside that headset unless you have like a huge weight on your head. So it's a completely different application at the moment.
Intel's going for it, so I was just curious.
I'm sorry?
Intel's going for it.
Putting an M.2 inside the head?
They're working on it.
Up front here.
All right, I've got a couple of things to start with. The 960 Pro samples that are on display show on the sticker that they draw 1 amp of DC power at 3.3 volts, but you said in the presentation that the average power was around 5.1 watts, which is significantly more. Which number is correct?
Yeah, so the question is about, you're talking about the display next door, and you were looking at the label and it said it draws 1 amp.
Right,
and
as
then,
opposed to 2.6 for most of that.
So they're asking what is the actual power draw on the 960 Pro.
Yeah.
Woody, do you have answer? Have you ever checked it? Sorry, I checked the spec detail over there. I think the presentation here should be the correct information, but you think...
So the sticker on the drive is correct?
We'll double check again what they are saying about the spec over there.
All right. And then I've got another question about the controller itself, the Polaris controller. You've moved to 5 cores instead of 3. Can you tell us anything about the hardware of these cores? And you said that one of them is being dedicated to host interface communication. Are these cores different on a hardware level, or are they just used differently? And it's 5 identical cores on the controller.
The big difference of the 950 and 960 is in the controller-wise, the core is 3 to 5. One core is embedded for the host communication. The other 4 core is running the flash operation evenly. So by introducing the 2 core, we can reduce the latency and we can get the high performance.
But are the cores specialized on a hardware level from one core to the next?
yeah, the core is not specialized for the hardware level. It's a general core.
Okay, who's next? Okay, gentleman over there.
Hi, it said in the presentation that the MLC for the 960 Pro was a 256 gigabit die. Is it the same die size for the TLC version, 256 gigabits, or is it larger or smaller? Like, is it the same die size?
Same.
Of course, it's not. So they're different dies. So chip size also different.
Okay, so the TLC is like 300 something
The
gigabits.
TLC is the same 256.
So they're okay. So they're just the TLC is still 256 gigabits. Okay, thank you.
Okay, no more questions?
Patrick in the middle over here. Thank you. I have a question on secure erase or secure file erase. Is there any type of certification available for that that would make this legally safe for business customers?
Yeah. Actually, we have gone through the Windows, the software certification program, and we also have a bug bounty internally inside Samsung. So we pretty much sure it's secure enough. But as we presented today, those secure file delete is completely removing the data when you ship out somewhere throw away, right? So user have to be careful. So we're gonna show the whole conforming kind of Windows when you execute those operations.
In the middle.
Yeah, of course. I have one more question. I'm a little confused on the endurance numbers of the 960 Pros. So the 512 gig has 400 terabytes, and the 1 terabyte version has 800 terabytes. And my question is, why doesn't have the 2 terabyte version have 1.6 terabyte instead of 1.2 terabyte for the endurance only?
TV도 우리 포함해서 얘기할 수 있어요? 이걸 모르겠는데. Udi, I think Udi can answer that. You have right. He is the person actually decides the policies.
Don't follow him outside. Great. Can you give the mic to Woody?
Yeah, the warranty policy for the 2 terabyte, actually for the in our Samsung SSD in the SATA product, as you can see, we just keep the same warranty for the whole capacity until now, but we are trying to increase the terabyte. Actually, the user can use the up to 1.6 petabyte, but is the policy is just adding to 400 terabyte is density. That's the one we decided when we decided the policy. That is, so what I know is that 1.2 petabyte is the fully enough for the 5-year warranty, 5-year period use. So because of that, we just decide that number. So if there is a problem, then maybe we can adjust. But anyway, currently, the 2 terabyte 1.2 is the warranty period. Policy.
Does that make sense to you? If not, let's continue to have some more discussion. Okay. I think our presentation, there's one. Okay, one more.
One more question about the secure file erase feature that you're implementing in Magician. You said that it's overwriting the data multiple times. So that sounds like you're saying it's bypassing the wear leveling feature of the drive. Do you think that this could have a significant effect on the endurance of the drive if that feature is used heavily? And is that implemented as a vendor-specific command extension to NVMe? And is that why it's restricted to just the new products?
So I guess it's not impact on the endurance because delete and we are just checking completely overwriting is just a one-time overwrite, and we have an internally verified system whether this data is recoverable or not, right? But in flash technology, in cell-wise, once you erase and on the program like 2 or 3 times later, you could not recover at all, right? Not like with the magnetic disk, I guess. Disk is you can recover small field of the magnetic, but in the cell, there is no way to recover after erasing program 2 or 3 times later, right? That's the physics of the cell, I guess, I believe. Okay? So 2 or 3 times does not impact the endurance much, even if Evo cross it.
And the primary activity of an SSD is to read and write data, not to secure erase all day long either. So even if it did, in theory, have a severe impact, it would be something that's not done that much. But as he said, it does not have a severe impact. And the second part of your question, you were asking, is there any work being done to standardize that feature? Is that what the question was?
Well, I guess it's how you're implementing it now would say something about where we could see it show up in the future. So
we implemented in physically erasing and overwriting.
But the software side of it, that's a proprietary command extension to NVMe?
Yeah, our Magician, gives some command to the SSD.
So presumably that only works if you're using the Magician NVMe driver? Okay.
So yeah, as you mentioned, actually we are using the vendor command for now, but as you know, there is a trim command in NVMe specification. So we can extend that command, including this security feature. So we think of that kind of extension in our future specification to extend our functionality.
Okay, I think our presentation session fully covered most of the valuable information. And I think if you have any further question, then you may contact our PR agencies, or I think you can do that. So there is no one asking a question at this moment, so let's close. Just last one person over there.
네, 한국어로 하겠습니다. 한국 사람입니다. 디지털 데일리 이수환을 하고 있고요. 기왕에 이제 글로벌 서밋이니까 그냥 지역적인 얘기 하나 말씀드리고 싶은데, 혹시 아까 그 패키징에 관련된 부분이 삼성전기랑 공동으로 개발한 페나웃 웨이퍼렉을 패키징을 지칭하신 건지가 좀 궁금하고요. 그게 아니면 자체적으로 개발하신 건지 궁금하고, 그 다음에 두 번째는 Z2SSD에 대한 언급이 너무 짧게 나와서 그런데 인텔이 조만간 3D 크로스 포인트에 대한 마케팅을 본격화할 것으로 보이고, 이게 정확하게 좀 디테일한 설명이 좀 있었으면 좋겠습니다. 예를 들면 이게 SLC 기반이라는 얘기도 있고 하니까. 그리고 마지막으로는 64단 4세대 제품에 관한 4분기 양산이 예정되어 있다고 알고 있습니다. 이게 SSD 제품화가 돼서 마찬가지로 올해 연말 4분기 내에 제품화가 돼서 출시될 수 있는지 정도 좀 궁금합니다.
제가 먼저 답변을 드리고, let me translate later after answering Korean first. 먼저 사실은 저희 서밋 지금 5년째인데 이 서밋은 사실은 저희들이 일단 타깃은 저희들이 브랜드 시장, 그러니까 애프터마켓의 소비자 시장을 대상으로 한 프로덕트와 인포메이션을 좀 하기 때문에 이게 전체 우리 낸드 플래시 전체의 기술을 커버하는 세션은 사실은 아닙니다. 그래서 그런 성격 때문에 오늘 저희들 프로덕트 론치 쪽에 좀 포커스가 돼 있었고 다른 것들은 이제 하나의 트렌드로서 저희들이 좀 설명을 들었던 건데 굳이 여기서 우리 케니, 한이 애드할 거 있으면 좀 얘기를 해주시면. 한국말로 해주기. I was talking to him that he was asking for more information on detailed NAND flash technology like G SSD, G-NAND, and also the packaging technology, something like that. So my answer to him was that this session is primarily designed for the consumer market mostly, and we are adding some technical informations to just talk about overall trend of NAND flash and SSD. And with that background, I'm asking Kenny Han make some comment if he anything to add.
Okay, first, so regarding the GSSD, so as Ryan presented the presentation, the purpose of the development of GSSD is to fill the gap between DRAM and SSD. There is some performance gap, so that's why the purpose that the device is to fill the gap, those two devices, particularly based on the spatial LAN we developed, so called the G-LAN. So it is pursuing to get some higher performance and also with some low latency. But GSSD is some our future product for the future systems. So I don't think it's the right timing to open the detailed plan yet. So we will release kind of a detailed information when this device is stabilized. And second one, regarding 64 layers of Vnet technology, as we announced at the last Flash Summit in US last August, we expect and also are planning to deliver our some solution based